So in today's discussion, I'm going to be talking about food intolerances. We're going to be chatting about healthy digestion. Some of the products we'll highlight today include quantilostrum, quantazime, and quantiveloci. We'll do our Q&A, and that's where you can ask your questions by unmuting yourself, and then we'll talk about aligning with FedoQuant. Just a little bit about myself. My name is Liz Howard. I'm the National Educator and Clinical Consultant here with Steiner Labs and FedoQuant USA. I am a clinical nutritionist. I do have 15 years of nutritional counseling and group and workshop experience. And I've also worked with medical doctors and other licensed practitioners in nutritional consulting and micronutritional counseling. And I do tend to specialize in digestive wellness and imbalances, and I do have a specialty in micronutritional supplementation. So it's great to be working with all of you today, and I want to learn more about you and support you as much as possible. So food allergies versus intolerances, that's kind of the topic today. So just a little bit more information in the research. A research team led by Dr. Gupta analyzed data from representative survey of 40,000 US adults, so a pretty big survey. And in that survey, an estimated 26 million or over 10% of the US adults did have food allergies. So that is a pretty big percentage of the population. But Dr. Gupta and colleagues found that around 19% of US adults believed that they were allergic to certain foods. So that's potentially up to 30% of the population that feels they are struggling with different foods, only 10% of which have true allergies, but 19% of which believe that they're allergic to certain foods. So while they found that 1 in 10 adults have a food allergy, nearly twice as many adults think that they're allergic to foods, while their symptoms may suggest food intolerance or other food-related conditions. So this was an interesting finding from a pretty large survey of adults in the United States. So food intolerances are sensitivities versus allergies. What is the definition of a food intolerance? It means either the body cannot properly digest the food that is eaten, or that a particular food might irritate the digestive system. Symptoms of food intolerance can include nausea, gas, cramps, abdominal pain, reflux, diarrhea, irritability, nervousness, headaches, rashes, runny nose, flushing of skin. So sometimes things are really obvious. Other times, if they're not directly related to the GI tract, like cramping, diarrhea, abdominal pain, and it may take a while for the person to really kind of pin down what they're intolerant to and connect the dots, like with a rash or something, to an actual food. Allergies produce what we call IgE, immunologic responses, and inflammatory chemicals like histamine, whereas intolerances or sensitivities are non-immunologic, but they do produce IgG and IgA reactions. So you can do, for example, a food sensitivity or intolerance testing and find out that you do have a lot of aversions to different foods, but they wouldn't be real true allergies. Allergies tend to be a reaction to proteins or pollens in foods. So cooking foods can really eliminate a person's allergy because they would eliminate the pollens. But allergic reactions are characterized by responses like swollen throat, hives, tingling, itching, wheezing, shortness of breath, and of course, more serious symptoms like anaphylactic. Sorry about that. So allergies can be more life-threatening, and then just the gold standard for an allergy testing is more so an oral food challenge test, whereas like we just went over, sensitivities is going to be non-immunologic type testing like IgG and IgA, usually for a pretty long list of foods and spices. Which foods cause the most cases of intolerance or sensitivity? So for intolerances and sensitivities, it's going to be dairy, gluten, caffeine, salicylates, amines, FODMAPs, sulfites, and fructose. Whereas an actual allergy, the most common offenders are going to be shellfish, milk, peanuts, soy, sesame, wheat, eggs, finfish, and tree nuts. So it's a pretty contrasting list here. So the food intolerances and sensitivities are pretty different than the food allergies. Oftentimes, FODMAPs, for example, are going to plague the people who are often diagnosed with IBS, and thus people who have constipation, diarrhea, or an alternation between the two. Dairy, of course, is going to, if you have an dairy intolerance, oftentimes if you get diarrhea after eating too much dairy or dairy, and again, that's going to be because you really just don't have the dairy enzymes usually. Of course, people can have problems with other types of dairy like casein, etc. So they're, and milk proteins. So there's the sugars in milk, there's the proteins in milk. So there are some different components there, the whey fraction that people can have some problems with. What solutions are available to reduce food intolerances, et cetera? Keep a food diary. People really need to be doing that to get to the bottom of it, and reviewing that, of course, after a couple weeks or a month. Chewing, we'll talk a little bit about how chewing, 36 times or more per bite, that can really improve the state of your small intestinal health and the improvement of digestion, which can begin to heal or help foster repair of some particular food intolerances or problems with digestion. For a minimum of 2 to 3 weeks, it's good to do an elimination diet, and then you'll want to potentially add foods back in every 3 to 4 days. So if you add, let's say, dairy back in for 3 to 4 days, you would start eating it multiple times per day. If you have a reaction, maybe not the first day, the second or third day, then you know that that particular food is going to be a culprit. And then, of course, supplementation. So just to chat a little bit about the difference that Phytoquant offers, we are a transparent company. We comply with ISO 9001 and ISO 14000 standards. ISO 14000 standards are very high or exceptionally high environmental quality standards. We're complying with other types of standards, of course, as well, and we have full traceability from the source of our raw materials. We have long-standing relationships with suppliers, and we grow many, many herbs on about 80 acres right near our production facility. We do not use chemicals or pesticides. We're using permaculture, farming and planting, so it's going to be spring water and irrigation, and we're harvesting the plant materials in small batches, etc. So in doing so, of course, we're producing the highest quality product possible. One of the interesting things about our production is that we use ultrasound extraction. So we're using ultrasound extraction, which doesn't require any heat or any solvents or chemicals, but it does in fact capture a great amount of plant material that's going to be very bioactive. So it's a very interesting cutting edge type of technology that not many other manufacturers can claim that they're using. We utilize the importance of water, specifically the Grander method does zero out the water, and then that allows us to utilize that water in our extraction processes, etc. Quantum energy is a value of our company, and Phytoquant uses geobiology in its facility in Italy and near Parma, Italy. So that's just something else to mention. And this is a picture here of the geobiologic pyramid over the production. So a lot of other companies have had to react to different trends, but we haven't, because we've always held very, very high standards for our products and promise to keep that promise continually to you. So we are providing you with 15 exclusive digestive health products. They're made in Italy, they're pesticide-free, they're non-GMO, they're gluten-free, and they're high potency. We do have other products in the Phytoquant line in Italy, but we are beginning with these 15 exclusive products. We've added a couple more. And just to follow with Hippocrates, the father of modern medicine, all disease really does begin in the gut. And so that's why we've started here. And once you study the digestive system and healing it, you find that it really is related to so many conditions. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Steiner Labs cannot provide medical advice or guidance. You should seek advice from a medical professional before making any diet or lifestyle changes. Okay, so Quantilostrum, this is a product that provides an immune boost. It really has a lot of different enzymes. It has different immune chemicals that are provided. And it's really a wonderful product for improving the trophicity down in the GI tract. So it's highly suggested. Not as many people know about colostrum. The colostrum that we are utilizing is coming from the Parma region in Italy. So that's right near our production facility. And it's very sustainable. And the cows are, of course, grazing on grasses in that area. So it's long-standing relationship with the Parmesan region, and this particular product has, in fact, come about because of that relationship. So this is a highly effective product for maintaining a higher level of immunity, and also improving the trophicity of the intestines. So this is going to be a colostrum extract at 567 milligrams. You do also have lactase enzyme in there. 49 milligrams is about average for a regular meal. If somebody has a larger amount of dairy in the meal, they would need more lactase, maybe on the order of like 300 milligrams for a meal. Quantizeme is a really great product. Our particular proteolytic enzyme blend here is great for not only digestion of proteins, but also of different carbohydrates. And it also contains flavonoids as well. It's containing like papain, bromelain. Bromelain has been shown to be a feel-good enzyme, so it really helps you feel better. It, of course, reduces inflammation. Papain is an awesome proteolytic enzyme. It ends up chomping up things that aren't supposed to be down there in the intestinal tract that maybe even have been hanging around. Alpha-galactosidase is going to be a digestive enzyme for different carbohydrates. And then, of course, we have trypsin and chymotrypsin, which are really important for also kicking off that cascade of enzymatic reaction that sometimes isn't happening because the stomach acid may be lowered in certain individuals. So anytime that you do have lowered stomach acid with a particular client or patient, or if you are trying to improve their protein digestion, this is really a great product to go to. And so I suggest 2 capsules about 10 to 20 minutes before eating. But if the individual does forget, it's fine to take the 2 capsules with the meal or even after the meal or between meals. Taking proteolytic enzymes, which this blend is, between meals, in fact, helps to support the immune system. So the proteolytic enzymes do end up linking up with the immune system and having what we call a systemic effect if in fact the enzymes are taken between meals. So what does that look like? Maybe 2.5 to 3 hours after a meal is eaten and a good hour before another meal, taking some proteolytic enzymes, sometimes increasing the dosage depending on what's going on. I've seen that type of therapy in people with more chronic illness like fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue, hepatitis C, possibly even other serious viruses where this kind of goes in and cleans up the immune system, chomps up things that aren't supposed to be around. So really in our day and age, this is a real asset. So again, if you're working with someone to raise stomach acid and that's decreasing their digestion in the small intestine, this is a great product. Or even if they're missing different enzymes, this is also going to be a great product. Or even if they're just not chewing their food that well. So if you see that they have a lot of food intolerances or they just don't seem to be digesting that well, this is a great aid to them while they're cleaning up their diet, learning to chew more, taking certain things out, etc. But it's also a great proteolytic support, which helps the immune system. So I really love this product. Okay, Quantiveloci, a blend of turmeric, cinnamon, L-glutamine that may support the healing of leaky gut or dysbiosis. So this is more of a go-to product for dysbiosis. I haven't, I've seen a lot of people be able to use this. Again, the turmeric and the curcumin in the turmeric is really well absorbed because of the cinnamon. So this is a great product to go to. We do have 400 milligrams of turmeric and 380 milligrams of that, so it's like a 90 to 95% extract. 380 milligrams of that is going to be curcumin, so that's very high. So that's a very high amount of curcumin. And again, the cinnamon bark powder and the cinnamon oil help with the absorption of the curcumin. It's a little bit different. A lot of other blends are using bioperine or black pepper. And then L-glutamine is also offered in this particular supplement to really fuel and regenerate the small intestine. So we're using Quantiveloci to support the liver, to support healing down in the intestine, to reduce overall inflammation, and the L-glutamine in there also is helping to start to heal up the junctions down there and the intestinal tract and the small intestine. So this is a really wonderful product. We would say to kind of quote unquote put out the fire, but also provide some healing support down in the lower intestines. So this is definitely a great adjunct to a program. So let's just take a look at a case study here. We've got a 65-year-old male with some different chief complaints. Specifically, his bowel movements are up to 6 to 7 times daily with a sense of urgency, sometimes up to 12 to 18 bowel movements, abdominal cramping on a daily basis, food cravings, bloating after meals, reflux, and anxiety. So in looking at this, food cravings oftentimes, sometimes that can be a blood sugar management cue, especially if people are craving sweets after a meal. But a lot of times food cravings indicate that someone has intolerance, as a lot of times people are craving foods that they're sensitive or intolerant to. Bloating after meals, if it's happening immediately after meals, a lot of times that's going to indicate some type of hydrochloric acid deficiency. If it's happening longer after meals, a lot of times they do have more of a small intestinal deficiency. The fact that he's going to the bathroom 12 to 18 bowel movements a day, he's probably very intolerant or sensitive to one or more things that he's eating. And a lot of times dairy can, of course, be a big culprit for IBS. If you eat too much dairy, it's just, you're going to have to go to the bathroom. You're going to have a movement. So those are some things to be thinking about, of course. Consists primarily of refined carbohydrates, meat that is high in saturated fat, high glycemic foods, minimal vegetable intake, and fruit in the form of juice or bananas. So he's eating a high glycemic breakfast. So he probably has some blood sugar dysregulation, and he really needs to clean up his diet, get some regularity in meals, learn what a balanced meal looks like, and of course begin to jot down different feelings, emotions, and bad reactions so that we can start getting to the bottom of what he's really being bothered by. So symptoms: bloating, indigestion after meals, reflux, sense of excess fullness after meals, indigestion of fatty fried foods, sensitivities to food, and strong desire for foods which he is sensitive to. We just talked about all of this. So trouble sleeping, again, as people have more stress, as that tends to elevate, a lot of times their sleeping anxiety sleeping suffers and anxiety begins to be a regular thing. So again, analysis, poor digestive capabilities going on here. So you actually need to help them with inputs. So digestive enzymes are going to be appropriate. You might even want to, it looks like they're having a problem with fats. They don't have a gallbladder, you need to find that out. Obviously, Quantita Pure is another product that we have that's really good for people without a gallbladder. but it will help to increase the bile output, make bile less viscous. So I do recommend that people with gallbladder or bile output problems do go ahead and consider that product. And needs to really improve the nutrient density of foods, but come up with balanced meals and start to look out for things that really are the culprits here. So poor absorption of fatty acids and fat-soluble vitamins. So what kind of solutions can we look at here? Solutions that are appropriate are going to include introducing the client to a high balanced nutrient dense diet, 3 small meals a day, 1 to 2 small snacks. That'll help to get their blood sugar on par. Cook if necessary at this time. Some people have more problems with raw foods. That can have to do, normally has to do with the fibers. A lot of people have more problems with insoluble fibers, or they have a problem with different sugars in food, like fermentable carbohydrates, like the FODMAPs. So sometimes cooking food can really be very, very supportive. I said celery juice first thing in the morning. That can really help to increase hydrochloric acid. And if you're wanting to do that, or someone's willing to do that, that's a great idea. And then that'll help to increase the sufficiency of the GI system further down. So starting further upward really helps everything further down. Supplementation, 2 quantolostrums separate from meals in the AM. That's going to increase their immunity, but also help to shore up the digestive tract. 2 quantolosi before dinner with water. That's going to help their liver and also help with improving the small intestinal tract, etc., reducing inflammation. And of course, 1 to 2 quantazine just before meals. So something like this can make a really big difference. And working with them in this way, and then maybe working with a probiotic within like a month is a good idea, but helping them to really just start to digest things better, calm the digestive system, etc. That's really good here. If they're suffering from reflux like they said they were, you might want to also add the product Quanta Digest. That's a great product for reflux. You give them a couple lozenges when they're really affected, and they really improve with that, in addition to those other products. So you might give them those 4 products to start with. So a couple of reviews here. Quantazine, I feel the benefits with only a few days of use, in line with my expectations. That was from Test G. Very good results with quantolostrum, suggested by my naturopath, that helps improve my digestion. And nice discovery for Quantiveloci, a very good brand of very high quality. It helped me improve my digestion. I recommend it. So really highly recommend our turmeric curcumin. I believe it's grown in Italy, and it's very, very high quality. And we're using kind of a different synergistic blend than other companies with the cinnamon and cinnamon oil. So we have really, really great reviews on that. So just some different comments from our practitioners. We'd just like to share those. There are a lot of products on the market, but it's really hard to find ones that are high quality. That's why I prefer PhytoQuant. That's coming from Lauren mentioned. She's a GI practitioner and a registered dietitian nutritionist in New York City. Another practitioner from New York City said PhytoQuant made sense to me. Their supplements are as natural as possible. I'm amazed at the quality. And she's an Ayurvedic practitioner. So yeah, it's not just from us. We wanted you to hear from some other people and what they have to say. And do we have any questions at this time? Just going to see if we have anything here in the chat box. It doesn't look like we have anything in the chat box. If you want to unmute yourself at this time and go ahead and ask a question, love to hear from you. Okay, so it doesn't look like anyone has a question. If you want to unmute yourself and ask one and interrupt me, that's totally fine. So just a little bit about aligning with PhytoQuant. Our wellness practitioners are the backbone of our mission to transform the health of U.S. consumers. With you, we're able to empower individuals to take control of their health through micronutritional education and extraordinary supplementation. So without you, we really can't perform our mission. So it's really important that you schedule a preliminary call with us to see if you qualify for free samples. We'd really appreciate hearing from you. And you can check us out, of course, on the web, health.fetoquantusa.com, refer. And if you bring a friend next time, there's some benefits of that for you. It was really great to be here with everyone again today. And just for joining us today, please feel free to use the complimentary discount code LEARN30. And so you can head up to our website and purchase as many products as you like. One-time purchase with the discount code LEARN30, so that gives you your 30% discount. So please, please take advantage of that. I really am here to support your practice. That's why I'm here today, to interact with you if possible, help you to learn more about the products, how to implement them into your practice. But then I would like for you to follow up with me, send me an email, shoot me an email. I want to start a conversation with you. So feel free to call me at the listed number, and my email is liz@steinerlab.com. So that's not plural, that's liz@steinerlab.com. So I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you so much, folks. It was great to be here again today, and I will see you next week. And we'll talk again. So check out the topic on the website, and we'll see you again soon. Thank you so much.